Good morning, everyone. My name is Elliot Payne. I'm the president of Minneapolis City Council. And before we convene our meeting, we have presentations of honorary resolutions. We are pleased to welcome guests to this space to share in these presentations before taking up our agenda. First up is a resolution recognizing Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative Professional Fellows Program, presented by Councilmember Paul Masano.
Morning. Good morning, everybody. We're here with the first resolution of the day, honoring the fellows of the Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative, the Professional Fellows Program. And we have an alumnus of this program with us, too. I learned how to do this from my friend and council member, Latricia Vita. I'll say a few words. So Margaret Anderson Kelleher and I were both hosts here in City Hall of this program, as were others across the street with the county, and you'll learn a little bit more. I'll read about half of this. You get the second. Here, you start.
Thank you. Thank you. Honoring the fellows of the Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative Professional Fellows Program. Whereas the Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative Professional Fellows Program is sponsored by the U.S. State Department Bureau of Education and Cultural Affairs. And whereas Waiseli program brings emerging leaders to the United States for intensive fellowships designed to broaden their professional expertise, and the Waiseli program affords promising young professionals the opportunity to have firsthand experiences in and exposure to United States offices working on a variety of issues related to innovation, entrepreneurship, and economic empowerment, society and governance, civic engagement, and sustainability and the environment. And whereas the Waiseli program builds the leadership capabilities of young professionals in 10 member countries and promotes cross-border cooperation to solve regional and global challenges. And whereas fellows will gain additional exposure to U.S. communities through enhancement activities, community service, and a host of hospitality experience.
And whereas the Waiseli program promotes the following broad goals to promote mutual understanding and lasting partnerships between emerging leaders from the 10-member and United States, provide opportunities for participants ages 25 to 35 to collaborate, share ideas, approaches, and strategies to develop solutions to pressing local and global challenges. Increase Americans' global competitiveness through new and expanded partnerships with professionals from Southeast Asia, create resilient communities, and more. Whereas the current cohort of Waiseli Fellows in Minneapolis have been assigned to the City of Minneapolis, Hennepin County, the Downtown Improvement District, in topic areas of judicial processes, economic development, communications, public planning and infrastructure, and legislative systems. Whereas the Fellows have immersed themselves in American and Minneapolis culture by volunteering at the food bank at the Community Emergency Assistant Program, visiting the Minnesota Zoo, Target Field, the Minnesota Supreme Court, and many others, going to concerts at the Armory and Grand Casino Arena, eating at many local restaurants, and experiencing the joy of a Juicy Lucy. And whereas the hosts of the 8 fellows in Minneapolis are Chief Judge Carrie Meyer, Assistant Chief Judge Mark Kappelhoff, Judge Angela Wilms, Hennepin County Commissioner Marion Green, Hennepin County Director of Broadband Phil Essington, Downtown Improvement District Director Adam Dunnick, Minneapolis City Operations Officer Margaret Anderson Kelleher, and myself. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and City Council hereby recognize your contributions made by the fellows of the Waiseli program to Minneapolis and Hennepin County as a whole. Thank you. So just briefly, I engaged in this program because I got a call from Mike, who said they needed one more host. And, I agreed to it in part because my friend and colleague, Latricia Vita, has hosted one, and I got to sort of be a part of that process a little bit and learn about the amazing experience that she and Mena had together. And I could not have thought of how much joy it would bring me to see Minneapolis through the eyes of the fellows again and to introduce them to a couple of things. Ali is my fellow, and I've so enjoyed learning about the Philippines from her. I have so enjoyed bringing her to exciting competitive high school soccer games in my community, and trying out restaurants, none of which are spicy enough for her, and more. So I have learned a lot through this program, and I hope you've enjoyed fall in the Midwest here. So I'm going to have Margaret say a couple words, and then we're going to try to introduce all of the fellows and have a couple of words from you.
Thank you, council members, and thank you to the council for having our guests here today. James was our fellow in the COO's office and focused on sustainability and health-related issues and climate. I do want to thank staff as well. I want to thank Anna as well as Ruth and Molly for really helping everyone get around. But the reason I have participated over and over again in many different roles of hosting a fellow is that I think the exchange of ideas is so important in the world. You come to learn here, but we are also learning from you. And I know James did over 30 meetings with city staff over the last 4 weeks, spent sort of a residency in health and climate and did all of those things. And I just know also that we are looking at a group of people who there's a future prime minister in here, there's a future chief judge in here. We know that you are all going to continue to excel, and we hope you remember your time here in Minneapolis and Minnesota fondly. So thank you for being here, and I will pass the mic down so everyone can introduce themselves, and then I think we have a couple speakers from the group that have been designated. So let's do the introductions and then come back and do the comments.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Trum from Vietnam. I'm a fellow at Minneapolis Downtown Council with Adam Dunick. Thank you very much for hosting us and giving us the honor today.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Fern from Thailand. I'm so grateful that I'm here. I'll go back to Thailand and tell people how generous you guys are. And also Josh Williams, my host. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rita. I'm from Indonesia, and here I'm attached with Chief of Judge Kerry Mayer. Just want to say we all fly more than 20 hours all the way from our own countries to the United States, and I think since day one, the biggest blessing that we have so far is that each individual that we met has been very much welcome us since day one, and I think that's something that we never take it for granted. Every single encounters that I have since day one, getting our feet here into Minneapolis has been filled with so much warmth, kindness, a lot of foods, love, events, concert, hockey games, and everything that I think we never have that experience back home. So definitely 4 weeks here is not enough, and we've just been so much grateful and blessed with every kindness that we met so far. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joey. I'm from Sabah, Malaysia. And over here in Minneapolis, I'm attached to Commissioner Green and Director Phil Essington. I guess I can go on to my stream. So thank you, council members, for this incredible honor. So I can say on behalf of the Waisili Fellow, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to the city of Minneapolis, our hosts, partners, and new friends for welcoming us so warmly over this 4 weeks. Your commitment to community inclusivity, and we'll be bringing back not just lessons in leadership, but the heart of Minneapolis itself, its kindness, openness, and sense of shared purpose. Thank you again for your hospitality and sharing your Minneapolis spirit with us. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm JD from the Philippines. I'm a gender and development professional from the Philippine Commission on Women. I'm attached with Hennepin County Commissioner Marion Green and Director Phil Essington. It's been so amazing journey for us, and we're so very grateful. And this will be a forever long-term memory for us. So thank you so much for this.
Assalamualaikum. Mabuhay. I am Aliana Arnica Mambato from the Philippines. I'm a prosecution back home. And in behalf of the Young Southeast Asia Leadership Initiative Program, we thank the City of Minneapolis, especially the council members. Thank you so much for today. And especially to my host, Council Member Lene Palmisano, for bringing us here and for showing us around Minnesota and Minneapolis. And we will surely be very grateful that we found North Star here in the United States. And you will always have an ally in Mindanao, in the Philippines. So mabuhay, maraming salamat po.
Mabuhay po. I'm James Nathaniel Rufuyo. I'm attached with my CEO, Mac, Margaret Anderson carrying her. And I don't know, in fact, I don't know what to say at this moment since every time that I enter in the city hall, I feel like, oh, I'm having this feeling, separation anxiety. And I've been work with the Office of Public Service, with dealing with different offices, and at the same time learning their stories. And I think I already have a second home when I go back here in United States, and I believe Minneapolis will be always part of my heart. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Romario. I'm a magistrate judge back in Malaysia. Here I'm attached with Judge Mark Keppelhoff. And thank you for the experience and the welcome.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to take a quick picture where we're going to need you between these two black pieces of tape. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So I had Maina was here with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we will recognize
Thank you so much.
Election Judge Appreciation Day with Councilmember Palmisano.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
JD.
James.
JD, how are you?
James.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, good morning, everybody. This next resolution is about election judge appreciation. I don't know how many people know this, but I got my start as an election judge on the front lines of democracy, and it is so impressive to see how it's run. It's so impressive to see how committed the people who volunteer their time, you know, they don't work for the city very long, but they are absolutely essential to what goes on in this democracy and this year in municipal elections. So let me just briefly read the resolution, and then I'm going to turn it over to Director Katie Smith. Whereas the city of Minneapolis is proud of its enviable national reputation as a leader in voter participation, the high quality administration of its elections, the caliber of its cadre of professional election administrators, and the unwavering community focus on ensuring all voters have free, fair, and equitable access to the ballot box. And whereas their service, election judges in Minneapolis bring the dedication, commitment, and expertise that upholds the integrity and accuracy of elections in compliance with all applicable laws, rules, and regulations, while providing the direct support to serve all voters, whether during the early voting period or at the polls on Election Day. They play a critical role in achieving a representative system of democracy and in building and sustaining public trust in the electoral process. And whereas an estimated 2,070 individuals have been recruited, trained, and scheduled to serve as election judges for the 2025 municipal general election, thereby to help ensure this year's election is conducted in accordance with the principles of freedom and liberty upon which the United States of America, the state of Minnesota, and the city of Minneapolis were founded. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and city council hereby designate Tuesday, November 4th to be Election Judge Appreciation Day in the city of Minneapolis in recognition of their valued service and contributions. Furthermore, the mayor and city council hereby extend their sincere appreciation and gratitude to all election judges for their service to the people of the city of Minneapolis. Thank you. I'll turn it over to Director Katie Smith.
Thank you. My name is Katie Smith. I'm the Director of Elections and Voter Services with the City of Minneapolis. I'm joined also by our Deputy Director, John Martin. He and I would like to express our gratitude for all of the election judges who are going to be working at the polls on Election Day. We're also fortunate today to be joined by some members of our staff who work with voting ahead of Election Day. So we have representatives today with us from early in-person voting, vote by mail, our training team. We have members of our logistics team, our voter outreach, our election judge and polling place team. And I'm just really fortunate to be joined by such a dedicated staff of individuals who are just consistently dedicated to making our elections happen here in the city of Minneapolis. I also want to express our continued thanks for our elected officials for their ongoing support, and also a special shout out to Clerk Carl for his ongoing leadership. So with that, thank you.
All right, let's gather for a quick photo here. Thanks.
Next, we will welcome Councilmember Jenkins to recognize National Disability Employment Awareness Month and Invisible Disabilities Awareness Week.
Good morning, all the people. Good morning, my name is Andrea Jenkins. I'm the Ward 8 City Council member, and I am thrilled to offer this resolution recognizing National Disability Employment Awareness Month and Invisible Disabilities Awareness Week. Whereas October 2025 marks the 80th anniversary of National Disability Employment Awareness Month, to increase education about disability employment issues and celebrate the many and varied contributions of America's workers with disabilities. And whereas the history of NDEAM traces back to 1945, when it started as a week and focused only on people with physical disabilities. Later, it expanded to a full month, and its name and scope evolved to acknowledge the importance of increasing workforce inclusion of people with all natures of disabilities. And whereas October 19th through the 25th marks Invisible Disabilities Week, and whereas in 2024, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, for all ages, the employment population ratio is much lower for people with a disability than those with no disability. And whereas unemployment and underemployment rates were much higher for people with a disability than for those with no disability across all educational attainment groups. And whereas workplaces welcoming the talents of all people, including people with disabilities, are a critical part of our efforts to build an inclusive community and strong economy. Awareness will reinforce the value and talent of people with disabilities and add to our workplaces and communities and affirm the City of Minneapolis's commitment to increasing access to good jobs for all workers, including workers with disabilities.
And whereas approximately 20% of Americans live with a condition that can be considered an invisible disability, amounting to approximately 66 million Americans, and whereas the term invisible disabilities or non-apparent disabilities refers to disabilities which are not visibly apparent, leading this person to fight a battle seldom acknowledged. Some examples of invisible disabilities include Alzheimer's disease, anxiety, depression, arthritis, autism spectrum disorder, inflammatory bowel disease, deafness, vision impairment and blindness, diabetes, epilepsy, fibromyalgia, post-traumatic stress disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, traumatic brain injury, Usher syndrome, bipolar disorder, cystic fibrosis, and multiple sclerosis, among many others. And whereas, since invisible disabilities are not readily apparent, the person's condition may not be acknowledged by others. A lack of acknowledgement of the disability often translates to a lack of funding, accommodations, medical resources, medical diagnosis, and overall support. And whereas in 2012, the city adopted an ADA transition plan, it was required under Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 and was last updated last year. And whereas in 2016, the city's Neighborhood and Community Relations Department renewed the city's commitment to the ADA by conducting a program and services evaluation and developing an updated plan known as the ADA Action Plan, which has been updated this year. And whereas the ADA Action Plan demonstrates the city's commitment to the inclusion of people with disabilities in programs, services, and decision-making processes by adopting emerging accessibility and technological practices and identifying areas where there are gaps and needs for improvement to better serve people living with disabilities in every form.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and city council do hereby recognize this 80th anniversary of National Disability Employment Awareness Month and honor October 19th through the 25th, 2025 as Invisible Disabilities Awareness Week in the city of Minneapolis to commemorate the many contributions of people living with disabilities, both invisible and apparent, to America's workplaces and economy. Thank you. You know, I just want to just acknowledge the incredible determination and grit that it takes for people living with invisible and apparent disabilities to get up and go to work every day and be a contributing part of our economies and our community. So thank you very much. And I think we should all gather for a lovely photo, and hopefully one of you guys hold on to the resolution. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks Thanks for being here. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Thank you. I love your walker. It's so cool. Yeah. It's new. Yeah. All right. I have one more resolution. You're going to introduce it? Hi there. Am I running anybody?
Our final resolution is recognizing Domestic Violence Awareness Month with Councilmembers Jenkins, Vice President Chugtai, and Councilmember Koski, and Chowdhury. And Cashman.
Right. I know. How about a magnifying? Hey, good morning again. Andrea Jenkins, Ward 8 City Council member. And this resolution this morning is recognizing October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city of Minneapolis. Whereas National Domestic Violence Awareness Month was first declared in 1989 to acknowledge the more than 10 million adults annually who experience domestic and intimate partner violence in the United States. And whereas the types of domestic violence include but are not limited to physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, digital abuse, psychological abuse, sexual coercion, reproductive coercion, and stalking. And whereas, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, 41% of women, 26% of men, and 54% of transgender and non-binary people have experienced intimate partner violence in their lifetime. And up to 10 million children are exposed to domestic violence each year. And whereas domestic violence can cause a variety of negative outcomes, including worsened psychological and physical health, decreased quality of life, decreased productivity, and mortality.
Whereas over 4.5 million women report being threatened with a gun by an intimate partner, and access to a firearm increases the risk of intimate partner femicide by at least 400%. And whereas domestic violence is one of the leading causes of homelessness, with the National Network to End Domestic Violence reporting that between 22% and 57% of all homeless women report domestic violence as the immediate cause of their becoming unsheltered. That over 90% of homeless women report having experienced severe physical or sexual abuse at some point in their lives, and that 63% have been victims of intimate partner violence as adults, showing that the public health crises of domestic violence and unsheltered homelessness are inextricably linked. And whereas Violence Free Minnesota, a statewide coalition of programs working together to end relationship abuse, has been reporting on domestic violence homicides since 1989. And
whereas in 2024, Violence Free Minnesota documented 2 residents of Minneapolis who were lost to intimate partner violence, including 35-year-old Liara Kaylee Tsai, who is remembered by her community as a talented artist with a unique presence and magnetic personality, and 47-year-old Allison Lucier, whose family remembers her as kind, generous, caring, and loving, and continues fighting for justice for Allison nearly 2 years later. And whereas so far in 2025, Violence Free Minnesota has documented 2 residents of Minneapolis have been lost to domestic violence, including 2-year-old Kinsley Princeton, who is remembered by her mother as a beautiful angel who is always happy, and Mariah Samuels, who is remembered by her children, sisters, father, and friends as loving, sweet, outgoing, and free-spirited. And whereas in Minneapolis, 3 out of 4 documented losses as a result of domestic violence or as a result of intimate partner violence were a Black woman, an Indigenous woman, and a trans woman, which reflects the staggeringly disproportionate impact of domestic violence and intimate partner violence experienced by marginalized women across this country. And whereas domestic violence homicide is a local and national public health concern that disproportionately affects women, particularly Black, Indigenous, Asian, Latina women, and pregnant and postpartum women. With Everytown for Gun Safety reporting that an average of 70 women are shot and killed by intimate partner violence every month. And whereas LGBTQ plus and people with disabilities communities who are highly vulnerable to severe forms of relationship abuse and relationship abuse resulting in death due to a national ecosystem that disenfranchises them, still lack representation and data and are underreported, resulting in a lack of information to fully capture the magnitude of the harm they are experiencing. And whereas the city of Minneapolis is committed to honoring the memories of those who are lost due to domestic violence homicide and those currently suffering from domestic abuse by bringing an end to this preventable epidemic through investment in awareness, education. No, you're good. You're good. Please. The city of Minneapolis is committed to honoring the memories of those who were lost due to domestic violence homicide and those currently suffering from domestic abuse by bringing an end to this preventable epidemic through investment in awareness, education, training, violence prevention and gun control, direct service, and policy change. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and city council do hereby recognize October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city of Minneapolis, and that October 23rd, 2025 be recognized as a day of remembrance for all victims of domestic violence. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. I actually want to open by welcoming 3 families and starting by inviting them to share some remarks. So first we're going to hear from Allison Lusher's family, then Mariah Samuel's family, and then Sarah Patrick's family. And all 3 of them are going to talk to you about their loved ones, how precious their lives were, and how they came to an end because of this preventable epidemic that is a direct consequence of us as a society not taking the violence that is perpetrated against women seriously. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Jana Williams. I'm Allison Lusher's aunt. First of all, I do want to thank Minneapolis City Council for giving Allison Lusher and every American Indian victim out here wings. Without you, this story never would have been heard. Nobody would have listened. Amongst the crisis in Indian country in this in America today, missing and murdered Indigenous relatives is a real thing. Allison's case is exactly why we go missing or murdered 10 times any other race, but yet we are less than 1% of the population here. Allison, there's a lot of things that happened in her case. Statutes, Minnesota state statutes and policies are absolutely barbaric that need change. Not yesterday, but 20, 30, 40 years ago. We need statute change, policy change. Allison would be here today if we did not have those statutes in place. And with Minneapolis PD, I appreciate this because her case should have been investigated as a homicide, plain and simple. As a marginalized community, we can no longer stand for this. Allison Lucier, Justice for Allison. We stand with every victim that is out here. I stand right here next to Mariah Samuels' sister, Simone, and I'm going to pass this off to her. Miigwech.
I just want to say thank you for having me out today. My family really appreciate it. I'm here on behalf of my dad and my sister Selena, who couldn't be here. She's out of state right now. But I'm just here to say that this morning was really hard, actually, when I woke up and I realized every day almost I've been getting text messages, emails about all these different events for domestic awareness. And it really hits me that my sister is no longer here and I will no longer see her anymore. And that is such a heavy thing to try to process every day. And I still don't think I understand. I don't think I ever will. I don't think my dad will ever realize that his baby is never going to be able to come home to him. And my dad is a very stoic guy. So the fact that this has hit him so hard, it's so hard to watch that for him. It's so hard to see him break down almost every day. He's not a man that cries or shows his emotions that way, but it's been really hard to see even my sister deteriorate over the course of a month of losing her. So Minneapolis police, you guys have to get your priorities together. This is unacceptable. Should be no reason where people call you for help. They take the steps that you ask them to take to do things the right way, to do things the legal way, and still they end up murdered in her own front yard. This was something that was personal for us. This was something that will deeply traumatize us for the rest of our lives. And it all could have been prevented with a simple arrest. And the fact that there are 4 people on the domestic case when there is constant calls for domestic violence in this city is outrageous. You guys have mixed up priorities. You guys are honing in and choosing to over-police in some areas while you leave the north side by itself to defend one another. You leave the south side to defend each other. There should be no way that Little Earth has to come up with its own protectors to protect its citizens. It's not any sort of way of right. We are Minnesota citizens. We pay taxes. We deserve to be protected. Minneapolis, you got to get it together, and you have to allocate the right funds, the right manpower to protect us, or things are really, really going to become dire. Thank you.
Just over 2 years ago, I lost my best friend in a horrific act of domestic gun violence. I consider this also a loss to the world and to our community. Sarah Patrick was a sensitive, creative, and bright spirit, a true Minneapolitan who was my steadfast companion since we were 16 when she embraced me with unconditional friendship. I'm not the same person I was before Sarah was murdered. When a loved one is taken from us so brutally, there's an acute grief, of course, but then there is the aftermath. For me, it was an all-consuming dullness to the world, a distorted capacity for purpose and joy. This new way of being lingers. I miss my friend's Cheshire cat smile, her vivacious laugh, and every so often I still listen to old voice messages from her to remind myself of the contours of her voice, that she was real, that she was here. Sarah should still be here today, and she isn't. My sense of justice led me to believe that the police would fight for us, would understand our pain. When Sarah was murdered, her perpetrator and ex-boyfriend also killed himself. So we knew there would be no trial. We expected at least an accounting, though, an acknowledgement of what had happened. He had murdered her. Unfortunately, this was not our experience. The investigators we worked with routinely undermined Sarah's humanity, speculating wildly that she had entered a suicide pact with her perpetrator, despite her phone activity showed her playing Pokemon Go, a favorite pastime of hers, just minutes before her murder. When that nonsensical theory didn't pan out, they suggested it might have merely been a game that went wrong, in direct contradiction to the medical examiner's ruling that her death was a homicide. The investigators tried to frame Sarah's battle with addiction as tacit reasoning for her being shot in the head. Sarah was a beautiful, complicated, and flawed person, and one of the things I admired about her the most was her resilience and dedication to her recovery. She just wasn't a virtuous enough victim for them. Most galling and hurtful was how deeply wrong that framing was. Sarah's struggles with addiction, and including its stigmatization and isolation, made her more vulnerable to violence, not somehow culpable in what was done to her. Why couldn't the investigators see that? More sensitivity and knowledge training, as well as after-action reviews and accountability are needed for victims of domestic violence when intervention takes place. Police need a better understanding of how abuse and violence cycles perpetrate, and more responsiveness to those who are able to seek help before they are killed. I seek this for families like ours, and especially for victims like Sarah, who will never get a trial but still deserve the dignity, justice, and care, and how their murders are responded to and accounted for. I sit here in grief today with Mariah and Allison's family, who also lost universes when their loved one was wrongly taken. I stand here in disbelief for the statistics of frustration and hope, and most acutely with a desperate longing for a world where these statistics for such murders trend downward and not upward. A world where when these tragedies occur, the public servants who are in charge of the cases treat them with the decency and empathy they deserve. I am grateful to the Council Vice President Frogchai for bringing this forward and for the other measures for after-action review. We can and must do better.
Thank you. I'm now going to ask if there are any of our other guests that would like to share some remarks.
En español. Hola, mi nombre es Alicia. Soy parte de Amor Propio, una organización de salud mental para la comunidad. Todos son bienvenidos y podemos ver el trauma que está ahorita mismo en este lugar. Uno de cada 6 hombres pasa por abuso. Una de cada 3 mujeres pasa por abuso. Y uno de cada 3 niños pasa por abuso antes de los 18 años. Por eso es importante esta resolución para conmemorar y recordar a las víctimas de abuso y a los sobrevivientes.
Her name is Alicia Robles. She's from an organization called Amor Propio that provides mental health support to victims of trauma. This resolution is really important. 1 in 6 men go through abuse. 1 in 3 women go through abuse, and 1 in 6 children go through abuse before the age of 18. It's really important to remember the survivors and the victims, especially in Mexico, we celebrate Dia de los Muertos between October 27th through November 2nd, and this is a really great opportunity to remember our loved ones and know that they are with us and we are with them, and we're here to advocate for the survivors and victims.
Hello, my name is Jess Pallion. I am the Policy Program Manager at Violence Free Minnesota. We are the statewide coalition against relationship abuse. I just wanted to thank everybody here for their words and for sharing their stories, and I wanted to make sure that anyone out there listening to this knows that there is a network of community-based service providers here available in Minneapolis. Over north, we have Agape Oasis doing amazing work. In Northeast, we have the Domestic Abuse Project serving victims directly and working with abusive partners to change their behavior. We have larger programs like Tubman and Cornerstone having a presence here. We have culturally specific programs like Isarun and Pillsbury United serving our Somali neighbors, Transforming Generations serving our Hmong neighbors, Esperanza United serving our Spanish-speaking community. We have other culturally specific programs like Think Self serving our deaf and hard of hearing community and Outfront serving our LGBT community. There is a network here. There are more services that I haven't listed because I don't want to take your time up all day today. If you are listening to this and you need services from a community-based confidential provider, please contact the Minnesota Day One hotline. They will be able to connect you with services that are appropriate to you. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that there is a community here that is ready to help you.
Thank you. That is a beautiful note to end on. So with that, I will see if anyone else has some comments they would like to jump in with. Wonderful. We'll grab a photo. Thank you all for being here. So it's between the blush lines.
Getting up is a problem. Yeah, try getting up from this chair. Thank you. Thank you so much.
At this time, I'm going to call this regular meeting of the City Council for October 23rd to order. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Present.
Councilmember Walmsley is absent. Councilmember Jenkins.
Present.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Present.
Councilmember Chowdhury is absent. Councilmember Cashman.
Present.
Councilmember Osman.
Present.
Councilmember Rainville.
Present.
Councilmember Chavez.
Present.
Councilmember Vita.
Present.
Councilmember Ellison is absent. Vice President Shugtai.
Present.
President Payne.
Present.
There are 10 members present.
Let the record reflect we have a quorum. Before we begin the meeting, I want to offer a friendly reminder to all members and staff that this meeting is broadcast live to enable greater public participation. The broadcast includes real-time captioning as a further method to increase the accessibility of our proceedings to the community. Therefore, all speakers need to be mindful of the rate of their speech so that our captioners can fully capture and transcribe all comments for the broadcast. We ask all speakers to moderate the speed and clarity of their comments. With that, the agenda for today's meeting is before us. Are there any amendments? Councilmember Jenkins?
Yes, thank you, President Payne. I'm sorry I'm not in queue yet, but I would like to move to amend the agenda.
Second.
Councilmember Jenkins has moved to amend the agenda. Her motion should be before you for a gift acceptance. It's been properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. Councilmember Jenkins, did you want to speak? Or is that your computer catching up?
Yeah, I mean, it's a gift acceptance for a conference to take place next week, Vision Zero Cities, which is a transportation conference, and I'm thrilled to participate, and I would ask for your support on this resolution.
All right. The motion has been moved and seconded. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Walmsley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury is absent. Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Shugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That carries. And before we move on, I'll recognize we've been joined by Council Members Walmsley and Ellison. The next item is acceptance of minutes from our regular meeting of October 9th. I would entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Chugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That carries, and I'll recognize we've been joined by Councilmember Chowdhury. Finally, we have the referral of petitions, communications, and reports to proper committees. May I have that motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Chugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That carries, and those matters have been referred. The next order of business is the presentations of reports from our standing committees. Those are taken in alphabetical order, beginning with the report of our Administration and Enterprise Oversight Committee, which will be presented by its chair, Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, President Payne. The Administration and Enterprise Oversight Committee is bringing forward 16 items. The first is a professional services contract ordinance. The second is a gift acceptance from the Metropolitan Police Department for transportation, meals, and lodging. 3 is a gift acceptance from Urban Institute for travel and lodging expenses. 4 is a gift acceptance from Open Mobility Foundation for travel and lodging expenses. 5 is a contract amendment with PC Rose LLC for the First Avenue South Sanitary Sewer Reconstruction Project. 6 is a contract amendment with Sheehy Construction Company for Convention Center Concessions 136 Remodel Project. 7 is a contract amendment with AVR Inc. for Ready Mix Concrete. 8 is a contract amendment with Meyer Contracting, Inc. for the Fremont Avenue South Sanitary Pipe Replacement Project. 9 is a contract amendment with Q3 Contracting, Inc. for lead service line replacements, Year 2, Restoration Only Project. 10 is a contract amendment with Morcon Construction, Inc. for Hawthorne Office Build-Out Project. 11 is a contract amendment with Meyer Contracting, Inc. for the 2nd Street North Sewer Improvement Project. 12 is a contract amendment with Minger Construction Inc. or Construction Companies Inc. for Boston Terrace Sanitary and Storm Sewer Improvement Project. 13 is a bid for the Convention Center Mill City Kitchen Concessions 134 remodel. 14 is a collective bargaining agreement, Law Enforcement Labor Services, Inc., representing 911 dispatch supervisors 2026 through 2027. 15 is Americans with Disabilities Title II policy. 16 is a master contract for eligible providers of workforce development services for 2026 through 2028. And with that, I will move all items of approval, and then we'll pull item number 1 for comments and a separate vote.
Councilmember Wansley has moved approval of the committee report, taking up item number 1 for a separate vote and discussion. Is there any discussion on the remainder of the report? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Chugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That carries, and we will take up item number 1, and I'll recognize Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, President Payne. I would just like to speak to item number 1, which is an ordinance that I authored titled Professional Services Ordinance. This is a fairly straightforward change that I believe will significantly improve transparency and accountability around the city's procurement practices. As many of my colleagues are already aware, currently the council only approves contracts with a total of $175,000 and above. These contracts are on our agendas and require a vote, ensuring an opportunity for oversight by the council and public, and establishing a way for also the public to track what the city is doing or who we're doing business with. Contracts, though, under this $175,000 threshold do not require council approval and thus allow for the administration to execute these smaller contracts through department heads or other city leaders. As of now, there is no formal oversight over these smaller contracts. And this term, this council has uncovered significant problems in the way of how some of these contracts have been administered and handled. And these have included questionable contracts to vendors who either do not have the professional expertise at the matter of hand or the scope of focus for said contract. For example, council learned that there was a contract awarded out of the neighborhood safety department where the staff member overseeing the contract had a personal relationship with the vendor. And even with the questionable personal relationship between the vendor and the former director of NSD, the commissioner then signed off on this contract, which contributed to the questioning of the credibility of our violence prevention services or the integrity of the department overall. And there are other concerns that have left many of us, as well as our constituents, understandably questioning other contracts. In thinking of another example, I'll allude to our Rescue, which was an anti-human trafficking nonprofit that had a controversial past, which included them being under federal investigation. Again, these patterns of vendors or contracts being awarded to vendors that have concerning past practices or do not have actual professional expertise has potentially led to lawsuits coming forward and overall just reputational damage of the city's credibility as it relates to us being able to administer contracts up to professional standards and legal standards. I believe this ordinance change will ultimately improve transparency and, again, allow this body to take corrective actions when we are coming across contracts that do raise a number of red flags or questions overall. It's also a way for the council to have a greater or clearer picture of which city departments are working with which vendors out in the public or in the community and help us essentially keep a tab of the workflow of the administration as well. Earlier this year, in fact, in response to one of the problematic contracts that council raised concerns around, Councilmember Koski authored a legislative directive that resulted in the public and this council receiving a count of all small contracts that have been administered over the past 10 years. And in reviewing even the report that came from that legislative directive, my office was able to get tons of insights as to why the work that we did around passing carbon fees, and were told by health department leadership in 2023 that a contract was going out to help us figure out amounts for those carbon fees. Through that report, we learned that that was not the case. And us not having that information gave us really, or left us in the dark as to why there was almost a 2.5-year delay from the health department in terms of coming up with concrete numbers for carbon fees. So I just want to say thank you to Councilmember Koski's leadership and also giving us an opportunity to understand how contracts are being handled and also how they shed light on either the lack of work that's not being done, that's being initiated by this body. So I really hope that this ordinance is just one of the many ways that we could demonstrate to the public that council do not take taxpayer money for granted. It also will help ensure transparency, ultimately with the goal to limit fraud, waste, and abuse in government contracting. And the public should absolutely feel confident in the city's contract process. And now this ordinance will help bolster that confidence by maximizing more transparency. I, of course, look forward to working further on initiatives, policy initiatives that aligns with what we're considering today. But of course, I would love my colleagues' support in advancing this ordinance forward and will motion it for approval and ask for a second. Also more than happy to stand for questions.
Councilmember Wansley has moved approval of this item. It's been seconded. I added myself to queue just to say I just really see the wisdom in this approach. Some of the earliest work that I did at the city before being elected was around procurement reform and making sure that it was easier to do business with the city, because we know that some of our bureaucracy can be really hard to navigate, especially for our small business owners and our disadvantaged entrepreneurs. This is a really good balance of making sure that we're not adding more barriers to doing business with the city while still upholding a commitment to transparency. So I really appreciate Councilmember Wansley's approach to this. I will recognize Councilmember Koski.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you, Councilmember Wansley, for bringing this forward and continuing the work. And I just wanted to ask if I could be a co-author on the ordinance.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no one else in queue, and I'm assuming the clerk's got that co-author guidance. Great. I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vitom.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Chugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That carries, and that completes the full report of the AO Committee. Next, we have the report from our Business, Housing, and Zoning Committee, which will be given by that committee's chair, Councilmember Osmond.
I will pass it to Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Vice Chair Chowdhury.
Thanks, President Payne. The Biz Committee is bringing 9 items forward today. Item number 1 is approving a liquor license with business conditions for the Cedar Inn. Item number 2 is approving a fine and tobacco dealer license suspension for Campus Market. Item number 3 was a license revocation for Noon Restaurant. However, we have received a clearance letter from the state, and I will move to delete this item from the agenda. Item number 4 is considering a combined trades license revocation held by PMR Mechanical Inc. This item was sent forward without recommendation. Unfortunately, we have not received any updates from the license holder, so I will move to approve the revocation of this license. Item number 5 is approving 1 liquor license. Item number 6 is approving 26 liquor license renewals. Item number 7 is accepting a grant for regulatory services to attend the Best Friends Conference. Item number 8, is approving the applications for the fall 2025 Brownfield grants. And lastly, item number 9 is authorizing an ownership and opportunity loan for Vital 24 LLC. With that, I will move all items for approval except item number 3, which I will move to delete from the agenda.
Councilmember Chowdhury has moved approval of the committee report, including the deletion of item number 3 and the revocation for item number 4. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you, President Payne. I just wanted to speak in support of item 9, the Ownership and Opportunity Fund loan to Vital 24 LLC. Vital Print Press has been open for 25 years. It's a BIPOC-owned small business in Uptown, and this loan will enable the recipient to move and purchase a larger building just across the street on Hennepin so that the business can grow. This building needs significant renovation and environmental cleanup, so it's a really powerful investment that the city is making here to help Uptown revitalize in many ways. And I know that the owner plans to continue to lease out his current building to business tenants and then build a new base of tenants in the building across the street. And this is such a good example of what we want to see in Uptown with local ownership of beautiful historic buildings and a growing small business community that's able to thrive. So I'm really glad that we're supporting this here today as a council, and I wanted to congratulate Mike Tadros on this fund loan. Thank you.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you, President Payne. I just wanted to speak to item number 1, the Cedar Inn, which is, I think we have 18 conditions on this license, which is quite a bit, but many of the neighbors in this community are concerned about the activities at this site. and concerned about the expansion of the Cedar Inn. I just want to, encourage the owners to really live up and live into these conditions, and hopefully this business will continue to be a welcoming place in the community. Thank you.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Thank you, President Payne. I also wanted to speak on item number 1, the conditions for Cedar Inn. First of all, just wanted to express a lot of gratitude for city staff, Amy Lingo, Max Cervantes, Akbar Mohammed, and my staff, Ben Petty. We spent a lot of time meeting with community members and the owners and management and staff of Cedar Inn, and it was a challenge to kind of address concerns that have been built up a lot over the last 5 years. Essentially, Cedar Inn is a beloved community bar that is also open till 2 a.m. 365 days a year in an area where there are a lot of residences. And I think I just want to express a lot of pride in the community for coming together and being able to lean in and find a compromise that everyone can live with. I think it's an example of being able to balance supporting a local business because the Cedar Inn is expanding, and also considering the needs of community members because the hours are shortened, especially for Sunday and Monday, and it's no longer going to be open 2 a.m. 365 days in a year. It's going to close at 1 a.m. except for Sunday and Monday, which it will close at 12 a.m. at midnight. And also there's several conditions to ensure not just Cedar Inn, you have to do this, but creating channels for communication from the community to the business, so there's just better relationship building. And I appreciate everyone kind of being willing to move closer and closer until we got to our final meeting. And I think we have a good set of conditions. They will not be receiving a liquor license immediately. For the first 8 months, it's going to continue to be a strong beer and wine license. And if all the conditions are followed and there's no alcohol code violations, it will go right into hard liquor. And I think it just gives an opportunity for the business to kind of show that it can balance the needs of its growth and working with the neighborhood and addressing these concerns that have built up over time.
Councilmember Ellison.
Thank you. Just wanted to speak to item 9 and maybe just the Ownership and Opportunity Fund more broadly. It's great to every time I see one of these OOF loans come out of the department, and because it means that we're seeing more local ownership. But I also want to remind folks, this fund is not that old. It faces existential crisis every budget cycle. It was conceived back when Jim Terrell, who has retired from the city, and Sean Pierce, who used to work in the mayor's office, and myself, we, put together this idea and really championed it, and the mayor has been a champion for it. But again, that has not stopped it from facing multiple existential crises over the years. I know that I've tried to play a role in making sure that this fund has money in it, and I've maybe some of you guys have experienced me sort of fighting you off of this as a source during budget markup. And I won't be around here to do that in the future. And so I just want to say, if we value the kind of local ownership that we see coming out of this fund, if we value, increasing who gets to own commercial space in the city of Minneapolis, there is not another gap financing tool that achieves this end in the city's, arsenal. This is it. This is the gap financing tool that we have that meets this end. And so I just want to, again, prop it up, highlight it, and just congratulate staff and thank staff for all the work that they've done to keep this ball rolling.
Seeing no one else left in queue, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the biz report, including the deletion of item number 3.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Shugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That carries, and the report is adopted. The next report is from our Climate and Infrastructure Committee, which will be presented by that committee's chair, Councilmember Cashman.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Climate and Infrastructure Committee is bringing forward 6 items. Item 1 is a resolution approving municipal consent for the MnDOT University Avenue Northeast Improvement Project. Item 2 is a resolution approving 2026 proposed services and service charges for legacy special service districts. Item 3 is a resolution adopting the water and sewer service line repair assessments. Item 4 is authorizing a temporary construction easement at 2225 West River Road North. Item 5 is a resolution authorizing a grant application for the 2025 Local Road Improvement Program for projects on 35th and 36th Street, Lyndale Avenue South, and 1st Avenue North. Item 6 is a resolution designating the West River Parkway Phase 2 project for the Upper Harbor Terminal, adopting the report and cost estimate related, and setting a public hearing for December 4th. I'll move approval of all 6 items.
Councilmember Cashman has moved approval of the committee's report. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Rainville.
Thank you. I'd just like to speak briefly to item number 1. I will not be voting for this. I'm very, very disappointed that the state hasn't come up with a plan to stage University Avenue in conjunction with Central Avenue and the county's redo of Marshall. These are the 3 major north-south routes through Northeast. I've asked all of those entities for over a year since they began public hearings for a plan to not severely impact the businesses and residents in the area. And also, if you throw in the county's plan to redo Lowry Avenue from the river to Washington. We have 4 major road projects going on at the same time, yet no one from these entities has offered a plan on how to mitigate the damage it's going to do to the community. So I would like to send a very strong signal today. I have no ill will to our Public Works Department, who will help mitigate this and who will and have promised, and hopefully they will, provide some input to both Council President Payne and I on this. But this is really poor service from both the state and the county, and I will not accept this for the residents of my community. Thank you.
Let's take up all items except for item number 1. We'll take that up on a separate vote. And I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Shugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
Those items carry, and we will take up item number 1, and I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
No.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
No.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
No.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Shugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 10 ayes and 3 nays.
That item carries, and that completes the CNI report. The next report is from the Committee of the Whole, which will be presented by that committee's chair, Councilmember Chavez.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Committee of the Whole is bringing forward 3 items. Item number 1 is adopting a 2026 transition calendar for regular meetings of the City Council. Item number 2 is approving a legislative directive requesting the enterprise-wide salary and compensation study produced by Guidehouse, Inc. And lastly, item number 3 is a resolution placing the Board of Estimate and Taxation Executive Secretary position in the Office of City Clerk for administrative and operational support purposes. With that, I'll move approval of items 1 and 2 and pull item number 3 for a separate discussion.
Do you want to pull item 3 for a separate discussion or 2 for a separate discussion?
Number 2, sorry.
Okay. Let's take up items number 1 and 3. Is there any discussion on those? Seeing none, Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you, President Payne. On item number 3, I guess, I think it's fine to move this into the clerk's office. I thought administration of this work initially was in the finance department, and it seems like that would be an appropriate place for the administration of this position to land, but certainly the clerk's office, which has a lot of responsibility, I think can shoulder this this work, but it seems to me more aligned with the finance department, and those are just my comments. Thank you.
Add myself to queue, and maybe the clerk can jump in as well. But I believe that the finance department didn't have the capacity to take it on, and so the clerk is graciously offering some of that support. When Ms. Kyerling started, it was even hard to get her a laptop and a desk because of that lack of administrative support. And the BT is a unique independent body, so there wasn't a clear place for her to land. So we're really grateful for the clerk to take that on. I don't know if there's more context than that, Mr. Clerk.
Okay. That summarizes it. Thanks.
Seeing no one else in queue, I will ask the clerk to call the roll on items number 1 and 3.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley. Aye. Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vitaw.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Shugtime.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
Those items carry. Next, we will take up item number 2. Is there any discussion on item number 2? Councilmember Koski.
Thank you, President Payne. I just wanted to make a couple comments on this item. It seems that there's been a bit of misunderstanding in the administration about what the specific ask was and why there's been a hard press by council to access this study. The bottom line is that the workforce compensation is one of the biggest drivers in our city budget. I noted before it's almost half our general fund. This study provides a comprehensive analysis of our workforce and its compensation. The council is in the middle of considering the mayor's 2026 supplemental budget recommendations, and we, the council, have the legal authority to request any information necessary to perform our official functions, which absolutely includes finalizing and adopting the city budget. And under Article 9 of the city charter, all financial controls and authority are vested in this body, not the mayor, and certainly not the mayor's administration. So no matter the basis, we, the council, have a legal right to that study, the full study, not a summary or briefing from staff. Certainly, we welcome the assistance of our professional staff in understanding the context of the study and its implications for this enterprise and the fiscal impact that it may have for our constituents. The city attorney has confirmed that we have the legal right to have that study, not just a summary or just a briefing. We have a legal right under the city's constitution to have access to that entire study, and we've asked for it multiple times and in multiple ways. Any further delay is simply a distraction from the issue at hand, that the administration is refusing to abide by the charter and is through its action and inaction denying the council access to data that is our legal right to have. That, in my opinion, is a violation of the city charter. So absolutely, we welcome briefings being organized for members, but first and foremost, we, the city council, want the full compensation study. Since we now have that confirmed and that we know it exists, and it should be very, very easy for them to provide this. And actually, it could have been provided within hours or at least within a couple of days of the very first email request. So simply make 13 copies, put them in secure envelopes that are marked confidential and sealed, and deliver them. Today would actually be fine. There shouldn't be a need to frame this as anything other than a request from council for information that has a legal right that we have a legal right to have. That is the core issue, and since we know from the city attorney that we have that right, we expect it to be respected and observed. I hope I can earn the support from my colleagues today so that we can fulfill our fiduciary duties for the residents of Minneapolis and support our workforce. Thank you.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Per the city attorney on Tuesday, this is private data. It can't be publicly released. As our COO, Margaret Anderson Kelleher, says in her memo that we all received, we have been regularly communicated to on this. Council was apprised of its status and offered regular updates. I think we also need to appreciate that while our salaries are public, this is a sensitive topic for city employees. Here's another example about protected and confidential data. We've had to spend resources trying to identify the leak of confidentiality and confidential documents up here when we've had closed sessions on things like our settlement agreement. What makes this any different? I think it actually is a reasonable decision of the city administration to decide not to print 13 copies and distribute them to all of us. I also see in COO Anderson Kelleher's communication that she apologizes for being wrong. She originally said we could have this in a closed session, and she apologizes for being wrong. I think that maybe we should too here on the dais. I also see social media from your appointed employees indicating that the administration is only giving us a summary, and that is not what Margaret Anderson Kelleher said in her memo.
Vice President Chugtai.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to make sure that all of our colleagues saw an updated motion that Councilmember Koski has brought forward, clarifying based on the discussion at COW on Tuesday that non-public data as it relates to this report is not being requested to be published publicly, and that this information be provided to members of this city council as we have a right to it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just add, the charter is very clear. We have the legal right to have this full report, not a redacted, summarized version of it. And then any council member who's not interested in that content can certainly email the city attorney and let them know that they'd like to opt out of that disclosure. And seeing no one else left in queue, I will ask the clerk to call the roll. Oh, Councilmember Jenkins.
Thank you. I'm just curious, thank you. Is there a specific timeline for responding to council requests according to the charter?
We adopted a policy for legislative directives and informal requests. I don't know, Mr. Clerk, do you recall the timelines outlined in that policy?
Mr. President, I'll start by saying with informal requests, there aren't timelines associated with when to respond, obviously, as soon as you can. There are limits about what would be an approximate use of time that's appropriate to respond to an informal request by the administration. So approximately 5 hours of work or less would be an appropriate use of an informal request. With a legislative directive, as this body knows, that's an official act. It is a vote. So if the legislative directive is adopted, then it goes to the mayor. The mayor has 5 days upon receipt, not including Sundays, in which to make a decision to either approve, not approve, or return that act unsigned, which is to be deemed approved. And then after that, the administration would be, required to follow up an act if approved or deemed approved. So not a hard deadline in terms of when the data would be provided, but that is a general guidance that if the legislative directive is adopted by council, its next step in this formal process is to go to the mayor's desk. The mayor has 5 days after receipt, not including Sundays, to consider that and return it to the clerk, either approved or not. And then the administration would follow up in response to whatever action is taken by the mayor.
Thank you. And then the LD is requesting this information by October 27th. Is that accurate? Thank you.
And Mr. President, if I can add in there, and certainly the city attorney can weigh in, I want to be clear with council. We've said this in terms of how legislative directives are framed. Requesting a date is still a request from council, and that the administration can try to honor dates that are put in there, but hard dates that are put in there might not be observed by council, since that may have an operational or management impact in terms of the ability to respond. So dates can certainly be included as a request, but might not be the date when information or data or things are actually provided.
Councilmember Chavez.
I just hope that there isn't any further delays in getting this information. I think it's pretty reasonable request. I hope there's no violation of the city charter and that we just get this information as soon as possible. It didn't have to come to a legislative directive, but it's clear that with this administration, sometimes you have to do that.
Seeing no one else left in queue, I will ask the clerk to call the roll on COW item 2.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Shugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That carries, and that completes the COW report. Finally, we have the Public Health and Safety Committee, which will be presented by that committee's chair, Councilmember Chavez.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Public Health and Safety Committee will be bringing forward 5 items. Item number 1 is a resolution recognizing the month of October as Health Literacy Awareness Month. Item number 2 is approving an appointment to the Homegrown Minneapolis Food Council. Item number 3 is accepting the Health Block Grant for Maternal and Child Health Initiatives. Item number 4 is accepting a racial and ethnic approaches to community health grant for chronic disease prevention. And item number 5 is authorizing a contract with the Minnesota Timberwolves for bomb detection security services. I'll move approval of these items.
Councilmember Chavez has moved approval of the committee's report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Shugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That carries, and the report is adopted, and that completes the reports of our standing committees. The next order of business is notice of ordinance introductions. We have 4 notices today. First, I am giving notice of intent to introduce at the next regular meeting the subject matter of an ordinance amending the Fire and Police Protection Code, adding provisions for public data reporting on response to First Amendment events, reportable force statistics, any steps taken to address any racial disparities that are found to be produced by particular types of law enforcement actions, behavioral health crisis response numbers, misconduct system statistics, off-duty work numbers, officer hiring, recruitment and retention efforts, and officer assistance and support programs. Second, council members Ellison and Osmond give notice of intent to introduce at the next regular meeting the subject matter of an ordinance amending the housing code, updating lead-safe standards and cross-department enforcement, and amending licensing standards and duties related to compliance and cross-department enforcement. Third, Councilmember Vita gives notice of intent to introduce at the next regular meeting the subject matter of an ordinance amending the administration code, updating and making technical changes to provisions pertaining to payrolls, pension deductions, and other related items. Finally, Councilmember Wansley gives notice of intent to introduce at the next regular meeting the subject matter of an ordinance amending the Fire and Police Protection Code, adding a reporting requirement for use of city resources in outside work. Are there any questions on these notices? Seeing none, those notices are hereby given and no further action is required at this time. The next order of business is the introduction and referral calendar. We have 4 introductions today. First, Councilmember Chavez, Chugtai, and Chowdhury move to amend the prior introductions of the subject matter of an ordinance amending the administration code given at their regular meeting of City Council on July 10th, 2025 by updating the committee referral from the Public Health and Safety Committee to the Committee of the Whole. Second, pursuant to notice, Councilmember Rainville moves to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending the Liquor and Beer Code for first reading and referral to the Business, Housing, and Zoning Committee, adding and amending provisions related to public safety regulation in on-sale establishments. Third, pursuant to notice, I and Councilmember Wansley move to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending the administration code for first reading and referral to the Committee of the Whole, updating government structure implementation to address outstanding gaps and improve government operations and collaboration. Finally, Councilmember Wansley and I move to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending the administration code for first reading and referral to the Administration and Enterprise Oversight Committee, adding a new section relating to the Office of Enterprise Risk Management. May I have a motion to approve those introductions?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, President Payne. I just wanted to speak. Cut off on me. I just want to speak to item number 4, which is the Enterprise Risk Management Ordinance that is being worked on by myself and Council President Payne. We've even talked about some of this during today's meeting, but we're all aware and have tried to troubleshoot several issues that have arisen from the problematic decisions being made by our current mayoral administration, and have questioned whether there's actual risk analyses being done on some of the decisions that are often made, or contracts or initiatives that are moved forward. And specifically, is that analysis being done in a systemic approach in regards to implementing city programs and services? And while we've done our best utilizing tools like legislative directives or after actions, all tools available to us through the authority that we have in a legislative body, this proposed ordinance is a comprehensive response and solution to what is clearly a systemic issue throughout the enterprise. And ideally, this position will improve city services and programs and ultimately help restore credibility to how the city manages taxpayer dollars that supports a number of critical services being extended to residents in the community. I also think it's important to highlight that this position came as a recommendation from our city auditor. We received a report on where this recommendation was included to the Public Health and Safety Committee as it pertained to the audit of the Helix contract, which in that audit report, there were numerous discrepancies that was revealed in terms of how and why that contract got administered, and the lack of accounting and just oversight over it from the administration. So that was a council-led action that came forward with recommendations. This is one of the recommendations that we're looking to move forward. And again, with the idea of improving transparency and accountability and oversight over programs that's being administered by the administration, and making sure that we're doing a thoughtful risk assessment when those initiatives are being rolled out. I also want to note that I do plan to complement this ordinance with a budget amendment, as was also highlighted in that report and recommendation to the Public Health and Safety Committee. I intend to bring that during our normal markup process, and hopefully, should it be advanced and supported, this ideally will allow our administration and city overall to have better governance oversight tools in place as we're walking into a new term and new years, and hopefully something that helps to outlast us and really restore credibility to our city in enterprise-wide initiatives. So just want to give that context, and that's all.
Councilmember Chavez.
Thank you, President Payne. I want to thank Councilmember Wansley and you, Mr. President, for introducing item number 4. Particularly, it is important to address many of the concerns in this enterprise, and I hope that this ordinance can help rein on those concerns. As you all know, the Office of the City Auditor identified over $177,000 in what they classify as overpayments to Helix Health and Housing Services, a single-source vendor contracted by the city at the urgent request of the mayor's administration. This vendor was to provide temporary housing, substance use disorder treatment, and mental health services for individuals experiencing homelessness. Some of these issues regarding Helix came about after housing and social service providers wrote a letter to which they alleged misuse of funds. This prompted an ask from myself and Councilmember Wansley to the mayor's administration requesting an update on the services in committee last year. I am concerned with a lot of what I read in the city auditor's report, particularly regarding the, quote, duplicate and erroneous payments that were made. Such payments show a lack of oversight, which creates an environment ripe for fraud. It's important It's always important that we as a city are good stewards of city resources. It is especially critical for this council to use all the tools at our disposal to hold the mayor accountable for the actions of his administration. As we continue learning about the real-world impacts of our still relatively new strong mayor government structure, we'll continue learning about the ways the city council can act and to ensure the efficient and effective oversight of city resources. I hope that these ordinances get developed, and I hope we can work on these issues with strong oversight and accountability over the mayor's administration. And I'm hoping that Councilmember Wanzi and Council President Payne can add me as an author on item number 4.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Councilmember Wansley.
Actually, if he wasn't going to do it himself, I was going to actually add Councilmember Chavez as a co-author to this ordinance. I just also want to say thank you for your leadership. I know you, in your efforts to get questions answered about the Helix contract and us ultimately receiving the audit report to the Public Health and Safety Committee, like you had became aware of this recommendation much earlier and reached out to the city attorney's office. It is my understanding that there was not a response given to you around how to advance this very thing that we're considering and introducing right now several months ago. And there could have been a world where we could have already had this in place had you received the follow-up you deserved and gotten support in crafting the ordinance language by the city attorney's office. So we wouldn't have to be doing this at the end of the year. So I just want to say thank you for your leadership. I'm super grateful to advance this work alongside you, and glad that you, after I told you was going to be one regardless, co-author on this ordinance, and you've played such a critical role in making sure that, again, we're exercising our oversight arm over the administration, the Fry administration, where we're constantly running into these issues or contracts that put us in a position of raising flags around waste, fraud, and abuse, and making sure that we have appropriate systemic responses in place, guardrails in place that catches these things, so it's not just relying upon us all the time. So thank you, Councilmember Chavez, and so happy to have you as a co-author on this.
Seeing no one else in queue, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Chugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That carries, and those matters are referred to the committees as listed on the agenda. The next order of business is resolutions. We have 4 resolutions on our agenda today, all of which were received at the beginning of today's meeting. Are there any questions or comments from council members? May I have a motion to adopt the resolutions?
So moved.
Second.
The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Chugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That carries, and those resolutions are adopted. Our next order of business is new business. As we discussed at the top of the agenda, we are considering an acceptance of a donation for Councilmember Jenkins to go to the Vision Zero Cities for transportation and lodging for the conference. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Chugtai.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That carries and is adopted. Our next order of business is a request for closed session. Before I recognize the attorney and we recess for closed session, I will ask if there are any announcements from council members. Councilmember Rainville.
Thank you very much. I have 2 announcements. The first one is that I celebrated my 37th wedding anniversary last weekend, and my wife and I had a nice dinner, and we reminisced over the good times as well as the bad times for 37 years. And believe me, being married to me, there's a lot of bad times. But the great news is I love her more today than I did 37 years ago when I married her. So I want to announce that. And I also want to announce that we had a real terrible act of hate and violence in my community last Sunday night. At 11 o'clock, Fletcher's Ice Cream was firebombed. And that same person came back at 1 o'clock the next day in broad daylight and firebombed it again. So tonight, we will have a rally in support of Fletcher's Ice Cream at 6 o'clock. That's right on East Hennepin at University, and I would invite all my colleagues. I know you have very busy schedules, but if you could spend a little time and come stand with me as we show support against this act of hatred in all of our communities. So thank you. 6 o'clock tonight, Fletcher's Ice Cream.
Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, President Payne. I just want to give a shout out to our election and voter staff. On Tuesday, I believe, the University of Minnesota had its early voting pop-up, which has been a very phenomenal, innovative effort led by our election and voter service staff, and was super proud of the turnout this year. I believe in 2023 election, there was 95 votes potentially, and then this year we had over 440 voters show out at the early pop-up. So historic turnout, and again, our elections and voters staff was just phenomenal and professional and really supported the increased turnout in a really meaningful way, and just want to give them much gratitude.
Councilmember Vita.
Thank you, President Payne. I just wanted to acknowledge the same. Today is pop-up voting at the Minneapolis Urban League, and it's going to be from 11 to 6. And that is, the address is 2100 Plymouth Avenue North. So 11 to 6 p.m., anyone can go in and vote at this pop-up site. And then there's going to be another one on Monday, October 27th at Weber Community Center from 11 to 6 also. And that address is 4400 DuPont Avenue North.
Councilmember Chaudhry.
There's going to be a theme in these announcements. So there's also another pop-up voting happening tomorrow, Friday, October 24th on the south side at Midtown Global Market at 920 East Lake Street from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Great opportunity to use the Beeline.
Get out and vote, everyone. I think that was the theme today. With that, we've completed all items on our agenda and will now consider the request for a closed session, which is to receive a briefing on the litigation matter listed on the agenda. Before I move to close the meeting, I'll recognize the city attorney to provide the legal basis for the requested closed session.
Thank you, Council President. The next item on the agenda is the case of City of Chicago et al. Versus Nome et al. And let me just stop and say, et al. Means and others. So in this case, it's City of Chicago and also the City of Minneapolis versus Nome et al. Your lawyers wish to provide a briefing to the council on this litigation matter. Accordingly, under the Minnesota Open Meeting Law, Minnesota Statute Section 13D.05, Subdivision 3B, the council may, upon a proper motion, close the meeting for the purposes of attorney-client communication as permitted by the attorney-client privilege. In considering the motion, the council should weigh the right of the public to know what its government is doing against the need of the city to preserve the confidentiality of its discussions with its attorneys.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. I move to close our public meeting as authorized under open meeting law, specifically Minnesota Statutes Section 13D.05, for the purpose of receiving a briefing on the litigation matter of City of Chicago et al. Versus Nome et al. May I have a second to that motion?
So moved. Second.
Somebody else second, please. All right. The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Koski.
Aye.
Councilmember Wonson.
Aye.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Cashman.
Aye.
Councilmember Osman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Vitoff.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Vice President Shugtai is absent. President Payne.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That carries. For the viewing public, I will note that the broadcast of this meeting will continue, and the council will reconvene in public after we've concluded the closed session. Tech team, we're ready. The time is now 12:05, and the City Council has reconvened in open session following our closed session. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to prove the presence of a quorum.
Councilmember Koski.
Present.
Councilmember Wansley.
Present.
Councilmember Jenkins. Present. Councilmember Palmisano.
Present.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Present.
Councilmember Cashman.
Present.
Councilmember Osman is absent. Councilmember Rainville is absent. Councilmember Chavez.
Present.
Councilmember Viton.
Present.
Councilmember Ellison is absent. Vice President Shugtai.
Present.
President Payne.
Present.
There are 10 members present.
Let the record reflect we have a quorum. With that, we've completed our business today with nothing further to come before the council. And without objection, this meeting is hereby adjourned.